Hello, everybody, and today I chose to speak about do the benefits of rock climbing outweigh the risks? And hopefully, we can learn a little bit more about rock climbing and about how risky it is, how beneficial it is, and really if it's something worth doing or not, or if I should probably stop. But let's hope that it's good because I really love doing it. So, first of all, is rock climbing actually risky or is it not so bad to try? It is considered widely an extreme sport, and I can see why, because obviously you're hanging off a cliff that it can be anywhere between like 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 feet. Plus, you can do something called big wall climbing, which is basically just climbing massive cliffs, which is obviously pretty scary, and you can be really high off the ground, and it can seem pretty risky. But are you really that likely to get injured? Is it just for adrenaline junkies? Like, in a study that I found, they said that from 1990 to 2007, which is a full 17 years, there were over 40,000 patients who were treated in hospitals for rock climbing related injuries. But if you compare that to more popular sports like football and basketball, in 1 year alone, football and basketball had well over what rock climbing had over 17 years. And to be fair, you do have to put into consideration that there are a lot less people who rock climb compared to people who play football and basketball, but still, that's a definite discrepancy. There's way fewer people who get injured rock climbing. But things like this, where you're pretty high off the ground, and the only thing keeping you from falling to your death is a rope attached to your harness, can be pretty scary sometimes. If you can tell, this is what we call lead climbing. So this guy is climbing up a wall, and there's a rope attached to his harness going down, and what he's doing is every so often you can see like a metal bolt in the wall with like a clip. That's what we call it. Well, it's called a quick draw, but it's got a clip on it that you put the rope into. And so if you look up above his head, like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 feet, there's that silver metal thing on the wall, and that's what the quick draw is. And he just clips into that. So if he falls off, then that will catch him and he won't just fall to his death if he had no protection, because that would definitely happen. And so all that is a two metal pieces attached with a thing called, it's called a bone, but it's just like a little chain thing in the middle. It's kind of like a rope, I guess, that connects the two sides, and it's clipped into a bolt that's been bolted into the wall. And so that can seem kind of scary, but it's definitely strong enough to hold people, and it's a pretty generally safe way of climbing. There's even a safer way to climb, but um, this is one of the most popular ways. And yeah, but this next picture is the more dangerous style of climbing. I don't know if any of you seen the movie called Free Solo. It came out a little while ago, and it featured this guy Alex Honnold, who is a professional rock climber. And what he does is free solo, which is basically climbing a route or something without any protective gear, such as like a rope and a harness and things like that. So if this rock climber, if he messed up and did one thing wrong and fell, instead of having that rope catch him, he'd fall all the way down the cliff to the bottom where those trees are. And that is incredibly risky, incredibly dangerous, and definitely not recommended. Thankfully, most rock climbers do not participate in this kind of rock climbing because it's so dangerous and so risky, and it's just not worth it for most people. So that's a bonus. But for those who do participate in free soloing, it is incredibly dangerous, and so I wouldn't recommend that one, but whatever you want to do, I guess. So as far as the health benefits go, obviously there's strength training because, you're pulling yourself up a rock, and that can require a lot of strength, a lot of endurance, and things like that. But one thing that I thought was pretty interesting is that those who rock climb are actually much better at handling emotion than their counterparts who do not. So let me just explain real quick the whole aspect of rock climbing, how there's three skills that you need to have to be successful at rock climbing. First of all, you need to be really strong, obviously, and that doesn't mean you have to be like a big person with like massive muscles or anything, because if you're that big, then it'll be way harder because you have to pull all that weight up the rock. So as long as you are strong for your body type and you have that going for you, then you'll be pretty good there. And you need to have a lot of endurance because you do a lot of different moves, is what they're called. Those are just different things you do to get higher up on the wall, and you have to use a lot of power for each one of those, and it takes a lot of endurance to do that. But you also have that third aspect, which is being mentally able to handle that kind of thing, because let's just say you're not really, a lot of people aren't really themselves or act normal when they're like hanging 100 feet off of a wall with nothing protecting them but a rope until I guess they get more used to it. But that mental aspect can be crucial because if you're not in the right space, you're not in the right mental, I don't know, like a mental place, whatever, then it makes it much more hard to climb efficiently and climb to your best ability. And you're probably going to fall if you're thinking like that, which can be nerve-wracking for a lot of people because people are scared of heights and falling, and which is justifiable. But the rope's going to catch you. You're going to be fine. Um, but is it better for you than other sports? And so what I found is that compared to other training programs, like I guess weight training or physical training or anything like that, it has similar physical benefits. They're pretty much the same, except for you mostly train your upper body instead of your entire body because you want to be as well light as possible, but also as strong as possible. Um, with one exception that rock climbers generally have really, really strong grip strength in forearms because that's one of the most important muscles you can have climbing because, that's what keeps you on the wall instead of falling off. But other than that, pretty much all the physical benefits you can get from other sports as well. But as far as that mental aspect, that is where that's where rock climbing really shines as a beneficial sport, is because those who rock climb are better able to handle stress and anxieties from day-to-day lives and better able to deal with those kinds of emotions than other people. So my conclusion is that climbing is completely awesome, and that if you want to try it, you definitely should. It's an expensive thing to get into, and while physically it doesn't add a lot more than other training programs, it still clearly outweighs the risk of injuries and stuff like that because you really aren't that likely to get injured. Sure, you could, but you can get just as injured playing football or something like that. And obviously, there's the outliers of like free soloists who that is incredibly dangerous, and I never recommend doing that. Um, but for most general rock climbing, it's pretty safe, to be honest. Um, and for me, a big bonus is that a lot of fitness programs and training programs require you just to do a lot of gym going and weightlifting and stuff like that, which is great and all, and I don't hate that or anything. But to me, rock climbing is just a much more fun and challenging way of actually getting that exercise in, and it drives me to actually want to do it a lot more. But obviously, you can reap those similar benefits if you just like going to the gym or anything like that, which is totally cool too. But for me, rock climbing provides that extra thing that helps me to be motivated and to have a goal that I can reach. And so, yeah, I'd say if you want to try climbing, you totally should. It's an expensive thing to get into, and right now you're not really supposed to because of the coronavirus and everything, but it definitely outweighs the risks in every way for me. So, and here's my sources. Um, yeah, if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and hope you guys pick up the sport because it's so fun. It's incredible.